Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the PV Show. The set values, when they are clear to you, making decisions becomes easier. What are your values? Join me as we speak to Benjamin Quansah, a certified John Maxwell life coach. Stay tuned. Hello, you are welcome to the PV Show. Today we are privileged to have Mr. Quansah on the show with us. He's going to share with us some key issues when we talk about values. So join me as we interact with him. Mr. Quansah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So you tell us more about what you do.
Okay. So the full name is Benjamin Kofi Quansah.
Okay.
And I'm a certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, and then trainer.
Okay.
Beyond that, on the technical side of things, I'm a grants management specialist, as well as a strategy professional. And what I do in terms of my passion is to help people, add value to people, so they can make a difference in the world around them.
Okay. All right. So we'll just go straight to the purpose for this interview. We are talking about values. When we talk about values, how can a layman understand what values are?
Okay, thank you for the question. Let me share this story with you as I define values.
Okay.
I was in Orlando, Florida last year in the John Maxwell training program, and we had opportunity for John Maxwell to speak to us. And he shared a story, and in that story he said that somebody gave him a gift. It was a book, and he was eager to read the book to get inspiration. The title of the book was The Greatest Story Ever Told.
Wow. Okay.
So he opened the book, and to his surprise, the pages were blank.
Oh.
Nothing was written.
Wow.
But then he found a note in the book by the person who sent it. And the person said, "John, you have your life before you. Fill these pages with kind acts, good thoughts, and matters of your heart. Write a great story for your life."
Wow.
And he said that changed him completely.
Okay.
So the point I'm making is, if you're going to live your values, if you're going to write the greatest story ever told, a story about yourself, you need to be guided by principles. You need to be guided by standards of behavior. So when we talk about values, you're basically looking at principles that guide your behavior. Principles that, or standards that regulate your life, so you do things right. So you're looking at your judgment of what is best for you. And those are values.
All right. So someone wants us to find out what are the importance of values? Why do I even need to have values?
Okay. So we need to understand that in terms of values, there are choices that you need to make. You're 100% responsible for those choices. And as you make those choices, they guide you. So from my experience and what values have done for me, I strongly believe that when your life is regulated by values, you are guided, you have a sense of direction, you are able to grow and develop, right? You don't allow things to come into your life anyhow and anytime. You move with focus.
Okay.
And that is what value does for you.
Okay. So another person also wants us to find out how will one be able to identify these values?
Okay. So, like I indicated, these are personal to you.
Okay.
And these are choices that you need to make. So, these values can be identified in various ways. Number one, you need to know your purpose and passion.
Okay.
Why are you on planet Earth? What are you here for?
Okay.
So once you identify your purpose and then your passion, what drives you to want to do something, it helps you to choose the values that would help you achieve that purpose and passion.
Okay.
Another reason or another way you can identify your value is when you embrace personal development.
Okay.
Because we are expected to grow and not to be static.
Yeah.
So once you embrace personal development, you ask yourself, what values do I need to have to enable me to grow? You also need to choose a problem that you have to solve to help people.
Okay.
Because people will come to you based on what you're able to do for them.
Okay.
So that's how, or some of the ways that you can identify your values.
Okay. Now, I've identified these values.
Yeah.
How do I develop them? Now I know what I'm here to do. I know what I'm passionate about. I know what drives me. But then how do I develop it?
Okay. I'll use my personal example.
Okay.
Personally, my top 5 values are faith.
Okay.
Faith in Christ.
Okay.
And I'm constantly growing in my relationship with God.
Okay.
The second one is family.
Okay.
I spend quality time with my family because they are the best assets that I have. The third one is legacy. I want to make a difference in the lives of people.
Okay.
So when I'm dead and gone, what legacy am I leaving behind? What will I be remembered for? The fourth one, which is my value, is integrity.
Okay.
I model integrity, consistency in my character, honesty in my conversation. And I always want to make sure that my words match my action.
Okay.
My fifth one is growth.
Okay.
I'm a lifelong learner. I always want to grow. And each month, on average, at least I read one book.
Wow.
At least. There are certain months that I do more than one.
Okay.
Right. So, to help me keep track and to maintain my values, each morning, I bring them up.
Okay.
So, I have a list. Because you said how I can develop them. So, each morning, I bring them up. I have a list. And then I go through. Then I plan the day.
Okay.
I look ahead. So, I take faith. I take integrity, I take family. What can I do to enhance my value?
Wow.
Sometimes too, you can send or create pop-ups on your phone or something. Reminders.
Yeah.
Then your phone will remind you, or you can even take a screenshot of your values and then use it as your background picture or whatever. So at every point in time, you are reminded of your values. And that is how you get to develop them.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so now I understand values. But then values and conviction, how are they related to each other?
Okay, first of all, we need to understand conviction.
Okay.
In very simple terms, it is firm belief.
Okay.
You strongly believe in something.
Okay.
So you say you have values. You have faith. You are growing in your relationship with Christ. You are spending quality time with your family. You have integrity. To what extent are you ready and able to stand by those values?
Okay.
And that is where conviction comes in.
Okay.
So if I can give a typical example in the Bible, we have Daniel in the kingdom of Babylon.
Yeah.
He had his personal values.
Okay.
But then Babylon also had its own values. But he realized that, hey, the values of Babylon were going to contradict his values.
Yeah.
The Bible says he purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. That was conviction right there.
Okay. I get it. Okay. All right. So someone is asking, why do people often compromise on their values? Why do I compromise?
Okay. I do a lot of coaching, mentoring, and then engagement with the youth, with other leaders. And I found out, number one, fear.
Okay.
Fear will make a person compromise on his values.
Very true.
And a typical example I can give is King Saul in the Bible.
Yes.
When he disobeyed God and Samuel questioned him and he said, I feared the people.
Oh.
So fear made him to compromise on his values.
Okay.
Others want to please people. So if you're a people pleaser, you want to make the other person happy, then you are likely to compromise on your values.
Okay.
Others too lack confidence in themselves. So they see a particular person higher than them and they feel they don't match up to the person.
Yeah.
So that lack of confidence can cause a person to, compromise on his values. Or discouragement is another example.
Yeah.
You are discouraged. Again, the children of Israel traveling from Egypt to Canaan.
Yeah.
And if you read the book of Numbers, it says they journeyed from Mount Hor to compass the land of Edom.
Yeah.
By the way of the Red Sea, and the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. What did they do? They started speaking against God.
Yes.
And lastly, difficult situations and stress can cause you to compromise on your values.
Okay.
And if you want to really understand that, you can call Esau in the Bible and ask him, because he found himself in a difficult situation and he was ready to give up on his birthright.
Very true.
Right. So those are the circumstances, some of the circumstances that will cause people to compromise on their values.
Okay. I have an issue here. Sometimes, for instance, you have a very busy life.
Yeah.
Which are, let me say, you have your values. And you know that, okay, on Monday I have to be here and there. A lot of messages pop up on your phone. You need to reply. Friends want to hang out with you. Friends want to talk to you on phone. And it's like, your values come first. And then some tell you that those values you are putting before, that's not what is going to make you happy. We are your friends. No matter what, when you go around, you still come back to us. So then, how do I adjust my values with family and friends?
Okay. So, first of all, you need to communicate.
Okay.
Because you can't light a candle and put it under a bushel. Yeah. The light has to shine.
Okay.
In other words, the light has to be communicated.
Okay.
So, once you communicate to them, if they are interested in your personal growth, they should accept.
Okay.
Personally, I've had to make changes in my family life and the kinds of friends that I associate with.
Okay.
And some friends that were in my inner circle, I had to get them out because they were not helping with my growth.
Yeah.
They were not happy, but values are personal to the individual. They define you.
Okay.
So I don't see why I should compromise on my values, make you happy at the expense of my personal growth and development.
Okay. All right. So someone is asking, how can one manage broken values? What do we do with compromised values?
Okay. So the fact that you are expected to stick to your values, but along the line you may make a mistake.
Yeah.
And you break those values. The question is, do you give up? You need to go back and then define yourself again. What caused you to come up with those values?
Okay.
Know yourself.
Okay.
Who am I? What am I here for?
Okay.
What do I do? Why do I do what I do? What drives me?
Okay.
Those questions will help you to understand why you came up with those values in the first place. Okay. And then what caused you to break those values. So if you are genuine and it wasn't a deliberate action to violate those values, there's always a way back.
Yeah.
David violated his values, but he came back. Samson breached his values, but he came back. Judas breached his values. He didn't come back. So it's a matter of choice.
Sure. Well, okay. So someone is also asking, have there been times you broke your values?
Okay.
And how did you overcome?
Okay. Good question.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll give a specific example.
Okay.
I'm one person who values and promotes good neighborliness.
Okay.
I love to have a good relationship with my neighbors,
Okay.
do what is right, so they are happy and they see me as a good neighbor. I see them as a good neighbor. Now, I moved to an area and I was new there. So that first week I had to clear some refuse in the house.
Okay.
And I decided to burn them
Okay.
in front of my wall. Then the smoke went into a neighbor's house and room and whatever. So she came out of the house and complained bitterly and then made some remarks that I can't repeat here. Wow. And it really got to my skin. I didn't say anything. Okay. So I went back to the room. So what I did first of all was to put out the fire so that the smoke wouldn't continue. Okay. Went back to the house, processed everything that had happened, and I said, you made a mistake. You breached your value.
Okay.
Get up, go to the neighbor, and apologize. So I had to muster courage, went, knocked on the gate. She was still furious. So when she came out, I said, you know what? You are right. It was irresponsible on my part to do what I did. So I only came to apologize. And she was shocked. So that was how everything was settled. Okay. So you need humility to admit that you went wrong.
So what if in the process of being humble, you happen to breach another value? How do you correct the two?
You don't correct a mistake with another mistake. I mean, it's not done.
Okay.
It should rather move you from a negative situation to a more positive situation. Okay. So at that moment, you need to take stock. Why did I breach my value? What went wrong? Okay. Could it be that I didn't really believe in what I said was my value? Okay. So you don't correct a mistake with another mistake.
Okay. Okay.
Correcting whatever mistake you made should lead you into a better position, not into a worse position.
Okay.
Yeah.